to address the issue of inconsistent manufactured home inspections. Firstly, meticulous documentation of all the interactions with inspectors is essential. This includes recording the inspector's name, the date of the inspection, and a detailed account of any instructions given or discrepancies noted. Secondly, proactive clarification is crucial. Contact the inspection agency and request a meeting with the lead inspector or supervisor responsible for manufactured home inspections. During this meeting, articulate the inconsistencies you've experienced and seek a clear and comprehensive understanding of the current requirements and interpretations of the relevant codes. Thirdly, present your case professionally. Draw upon your extensive experience in manufactured home installations to support your position. Emphasize the consistency and adherence to best practices that have characterized your work over the past 15 years. Fourthly, request consistent inspections to minimize confusion and ensure that inspections are conducted by individuals possessing the necessary knowledge and experience in manufactured home installations. Ask for a dedicated inspector to be assigned to your projects. Fifthly, obtain a copy of the inspection checklist used by the agency and thoroughly review it with the inspector. This collaborative review will help identify any specific areas of concern or differing interpretations that require clarification and resolution. Sixthly, if necessary and appropriate, offer to provide training or guidance to inspectors who may not be entirely familiar with specific aspects of manufactured home installations. Sharing your expertise can help ensure consistent and accurate inspections. Seventhly, after any discussions or clarifications with the inspection agency and inspectors, diligently follow up to verify that the agreed upon requirements and interpretations are being consistently followed in subsequent inspections. Maintaining professional relationships is crucial throughout this process. Always communicate with the inspectors respectfully, even if you disagree with their interpretations or find their instructions to be inconsistent. Avoid confrontations and maintain a common solution-oriented approach when addressing discrepancies or concerns. Document all conversations with inspectors, whether in writing or electronically, to maintain a clear record and minimize the potential for miscommunications or misunderstandings. Keep your supervisor or manager informed about the situation, including the challenges encountered and any potential consequences for your work or the company. Seek support from a professional organization or industry association if you continue to encounter difficulties or feel that your concerns are not being adequately addressed. These organizations can often provide guidance, advocacy, and resources to help resolve inspection-related issues. Regarding the electrical aspects of manufactured home installations, it's imperative to adhere to the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Article 550 covers the specific requirements for manufactured homes and manufactured home sites. Grounding is a critical safety aspect. The NEC requires a grounding electrode system to be installed at the manufactured home. Typically, this involves connecting to a driven ground rod, a bare ground ring, or the metallic water pipe system if available. The grounding electrode conductor must be sized according to NEC Table 250.66, based on the size of the ungrounded service entrance conductors. Bonding ensures that all metallic parts of the manufactured home are electrically connected to create a low impedance path for fault current. This includes bonding the metal frame, metal siding, metallic piping systems, and metal appliance enclosures. Bonding jumpers must be sized according to NEC Section 250.102, based on the size of the circuit conductors. Overcurrent protection is essential to protect the electrical system from overloads and short circuits. The main service panel in the manufactured home must have appropriately sized circuit breakers or fuses to protect each circuit. Branch circuit supplying receptacles and lighting must also have overcurrent protection. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or size, are required in many areas of a manufactured home to protect against arc faults, which can cause fires. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are required in bathrooms, kitchens, and other locations where there is a risk of electric shock. Wiring methods in manufactured homes must comply with the NEC. Typically, non-metallic sheet cable, or NM cable, is used for branch circuits. The cable must be properly supported and secured to prevent damage. Receptacles and switches must be of the correct type and rating for the application. Receptacles in bathrooms and kitchens must be GFCI protected. Lighting fixtures must be installed in accordance with the NEC and must be suitable for the location. For example, outdoor lighting fixtures must be weatherproof. Appliance circuits must be sized and protected according to the NEC. Appliances such as ranges, dryers, and air conditioners require dedicated circuits with appropriate overcurrent protection. The electrical service for a manufactured home must be sized to meet the load requirements. The service entrance conductors must be sized according to NEC Article 310, based on the calculated load. The service equipment must have a disconnecting means that is readily accessible to the occupant. When making electrical connections in a manufactured home, it's important to use the correct wiring methods and techniques. All connections must be made in approved junction boxes. Wire connectors must be of the correct type and size for the conductors being connected. The NEC requires that all electrical work in manufactured homes be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. The inspector will verify that the installation complies with the NEC and other applicable codes. Some common electrical code violations in manufactured homes include improper grounding, inadequate overcurrent protection, incorrect wiring methods, and missing GFCI or RSI protection. To avoid these violations, it's important to carefully follow the NEC and to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions. Addressing specific inspector concerns requires a systematic approach. Firstly, if an inspector raises a concern about grounding, review the grounding electrode system and verify that it complies with NEC requirements. Check the size of the grounding electrode conductor and the connections to the ground rod or other grounding electrodes. Secondly, if the inspector is concerned about overcurrent protection, verify that the circuit breakers or fuses are the correct size for the circuits they protect. Check the ampacity of the conductors and the ratings of the appliances connected to the circuits. Thirdly, if the inspector questions the wiring methods, ensure that the wiring is properly supported and secured and that the correct type of cable is used for the application. Check the connections in junction boxes and verify that the wire connectors are of the correct type and size. Fourthly, if the inspector identifies missing GFCI or RSI protection, install the required devices in the appropriate locations. Test the GFCI receptacles to ensure that they are functioning properly. Providing documentation such as wiring diagrams, load calculations, and product specifications can help demonstrate that the electrical installation complies with the NEC and other applicable codes. Maintaining a positive and professional attitude when interacting with inspectors can help facilitate the inspection process and resolve any concerns more efficiently. Seeking clarification on any points of disagreement or uncertainty can help ensure that the electrical installation meets the inspector's requirements. Regarding plumbing inspections, ensure proper pipe sizing according to code. Both water supply and drain pipes must be sized appropriately for the fixtures they serve. Undersized pipes can lead to low water pressure or inadequate drainage, while oversized pipes can be a waste of materials. Use the appropriate materials for the intended application. For example, CPVC is commonly used for hot water supply lines, while PVC is used for cold water and drain lines. Ensure that all pipe joints are properly sealed to prevent leaks. Use the correct type of sealant or solder for the type of pipe being joined. Pressure test the plumbing system after installation to check for leaks. Apply air or water pressure to the system and inspect all joints and connections for any signs of leakage. Provide adequate support for all pipes to prevent sagging or movement. Use pipe hangers or straps to support pipes at appropriate intervals. Proper venting is essential for the proper operation of the plumbing system. Vent pipes allow air to enter the drain lines, which prevents a vacuum from forming and allows wastewater to flow freely. Install backflow preventers where necessary to prevent contaminated water from flowing back into the potable water supply. Backflow preventers are required in certain situations, such as when connecting to a private well or when installing a hose bib. Insulate hot water pipes to reduce heat loss and improve energy efficiency. Pipe insulation can also help prevent condensation from forming on cold water pipes. Ensure that all plumbing fixtures are properly installed and connected to the water supply and drain lines. Check for leaks around the base of toilets, faucets, and other fixtures. If an inspector raises a concern about pipe sizing, refer to the plumbing code to determine the correct pipe size for the fixture in question. Provide calculations to support your pipe sizing decisions. If the inspector is concerned about the type of materials used, provide documentation to show that the materials are approved for the intended application. If the inspector identifies a leak, repair the leak immediately and retest the system to ensure that the leak has been fixed. If the inspector is concerned about the support for the pipes, add additional pipe hangers or straps as needed. If the inspector is concerned about venting, verify that the vent system is properly installed and that there are no obstructions in the vent pipes. If the inspector requires a backflow preventer, install one according to the manufacturer's instructions. Maintaining a positive and professional attitude when interacting with inspectors can help facilitate the inspection process and resolve any concerns more efficiently. Seeking clarification on any points of disagreement or uncertainty can help ensure that the plumbing installation meets the inspector's requirements. Addressing HVAC inspection concerns effectively necessitates a thorough understanding of the relevant codes and best practices. Air ducts must be properly sized to ensure adequate airflow to all rooms. Use duct sizing calculators to determine the appropriate duct sizes based on the heating and cooling loads of each room. All ductwork must be properly sealed to prevent air leaks. Use duct sealant or tape to seal all joints and seams. Insulate ductwork that runs through unconditioned spaces to reduce heat loss or gain. Duct insulation can significantly improve the energy efficiency of the HVAC system. Air filters must be properly installed and regularly replaced to maintain good air quality. Use high-efficiency particulate air, or HEPA, filters to remove dust, pollen, and other allergens from the air. Ensure proper ventilation to remove stale air and introduce fresh air into the building. Install exhaust fans in bathrooms and kitchens to remove moisture and odors. Heating and cooling equipment must be properly sized to meet the heating and cooling loads of the building. Oversized equipment can lead to short cycling and reduced efficiency, while undersized equipment may not be able to maintain comfortable temperatures. Install carbon monoxide detectors to protect against carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide detectors are required in all homes with fuel-burning appliances. Ensure that the HVAC system is properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. The grounding system must comply with the National Electrical Code, or NEC. If an inspector raises a concern about duct sizing, provide calculations to support your duct sizing decisions. Use duct sizing calculators to demonstrate that the ductwork is appropriately sized for the heating and cooling loads of each room. If the inspector is concerned about air leaks, seal all ductwork with duct sealant or tape and retest the system to ensure that there are no leaks. If the inspector is concerned about insulation, add additional insulation to the ductwork to meet the code requirement. If the inspector requires a carbon monoxide detector, install one according to the manufacturer's instructions. Maintaining a positive and professional attitude when interacting with inspectors can help facilitate the inspection process and resolve any concerns more efficiently. Seeking clarification on any points of disagreement or uncertainty can help ensure that the HVAC installation meets the inspector's requirements. Ensure that all work is performed in accordance with local and national codes. Familiarize yourself with the specific requirements of the jurisdiction in which you are working. If necessary, obtain the required permits before starting any work. Failure to obtain permits can result in fines and delays. Document all work that is performed, including the materials used, the methods employed, and any test results. This documentation can be helpful in resolving any disputes with inspectors. Remember to prioritize safety when working on manufactured home installations. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, and follow all safety procedures. Be aware of the hazards that are present on the job site and take steps to mitigate those hazards. If you are unsure about how to perform a task safely, ask for help from a qualified professional. Staying up to date on the latest codes and best practices is essential for ensuring that manufactured home installations are performed correctly and safely. Attend training courses and seminars to learn about new technologies and techniques. Read trade publications and industry newsletters to stay informed about changes in the codes. By following these steps, you can effectively address the issue of inconsistent manufactured home inspections, maintain professional relationships with inspectors, and ensure that your work is performed correctly and safely.